Welcome everyone to a special episode of The Great Matters. We are talking football. We're talking NFL football. And in this particular show, we are focusing on the NFC. The NFC, each division, we're going to break it down, tell you what's most interesting, what to be looking out for. And let's face it, between both conferences, the AFC and the NFC, there's a little more power over in the AFC, a little more excitement and intrigue going on. The NFC, not quite as much, but still some good things to be looking for, because let's face it, somebody got to show up to the Super Bowl, right? Mm-hmm. Might as well be you. So let's go ahead and start this out by looking at the NFC North. And the NFC North, as has been for quite some time now, there's a little bit of ick and ew going on there. It's kind of nasty. It's basically been the Green Bay Packers and everybody else. There hasn't been a whole lot. Nope. Okay. Yeah. I mean, the Minnesota Vikings try to put up a little bit of a fight, a little bit of a front, but they're doing some new things there, new coaches. There's been some turnover there. And then obviously the Detroit Lions are not particularly
professional.
I was going to choose the word thought-provoking, but professional also applies. And then the Bears are just
they got cats on two-way deals.
It's rough. It's slim out here in the NFC North. So what are you looking for in the NFC North this year? What highlights, what teams are catching your attention? Are there any particular storylines that you're actually paying attention to? We'll start with you, Andre.
Yeah. So I'll run through the bottom parts real quick. So Detroit, I actually like Dan Campbell as a coach. I think they're going to be okay in the near future. This ain't this future. I just think that, but they're at least
he won't get to the mountaintop with them, but they're gonna get there.
They're gonna get there. They at least are trying to form a structure, and I like the fact that the players are playing for them.
That buzzword culture. He's actually developing a non-Detroit Lions culture.
I'm liking the guy on Hard Knocks.
Yeah. So that's them. The Bears are terrible. Like the Bears will be in the running for the worst record. I without a shadow of a doubt, they'll be in the running.
Shout out to Justin Fields, because somebody need to shout out. Like
I feel sorry for him. I like
boy.
I'm gonna do something we used to do in the GCL.
Yes.
If there was I'm not wishing injury on anybody, but if there's a lingering hamstring injury or anything that keeps him out, I wouldn't be mad at him for taking this year off, because the entire team is going to be terrible. So now
they lost too much, man, and they already didn't have enough.
Oh, it's going to hurt. This year going to hurt. He going to be nice all year.
Didn't he lead? Didn't they lose a receiver?
And they lost Allen Robinson. They lost the only receiver, which was
Robinson, and Khalil Mack is gone.
Yeah, so it's just him. And
they had 1,000-yard receiver. He came back. Moody, I think his name is.
Yeah, but he ain't a one.
No, he's like a 3.
He needed Robinson.
Yeah, so
that's getting opportunities.
It literally is him and David Montgomery are the only. It's just them.
Shout out to Mount Healthy.
Yeah, definitely big shout out to the Owls. But so now that we got that out of the way, the two teams that are going to be my interesting story are obviously Green Bay and Minnesota. I like. We talked about it before. Kirk Cousins is the definition of an average quarterback, but is it enough? And for this, I'm gonna go on record. This year, it will be enough, him being average, that the Minnesota Vikings are going to win the NFC North.
Really?
I'd love, and I cannot put a big enough heart around this. I love the Green Bay Packers defense. I do not like their offense at all. And outside of me not liking the offense, I don't like their leadership. Aaron Rodgers calling out rookie receivers to the media and all these different things. I know people got different takes on it. I just don't think it's a good look. And I think the finger pointing that he tends to do is going to wear old, especially when they get off to a slow start. Mm-hmm. And I think the pressure of trying to replace Devontae Adams is going to make it harder on those young receivers. And he ain't making it easier. Like, he ain't pulling nobody off to the side saying, hey, hey, on this route, run. He talking about, I'm replacing you. Like, so I just don't think it's going to go well this year. They've ridden the 13-win train for 3 years, hadn't produced anything but a playoff berth and a quick exit. So yeah, I got Minnesota winning the division because I like what they've built. I like the head coach. Kirk Cousins is going to do just enough, but I think it's going to be. Now, obviously, this all comes down to injuries, but I think if Dalvin Cook can stay healthy, they got what it takes to be able to pull this off. If nothing else, by lack of everybody else coming backwards. Even if they just stay where they at and everybody else comes backwards, then the Bears can't go backwards.
I'm gonna jump in right here, and I'm gonna let Paul close it out. I'm gonna jump in here, and there's 3 things I want to point out. If you actually go back and look at the records in the games that the Packers won and look at some of the games that the Vikings lost, the margin of victory was there were so, and I don't even have the numbers in front of me, but so many of them were like 3 points, 2 points, like they were very close. So the Vikings, I think there was only 2 games where it was like they were not in the game.
Right.
I'll take a second take here, and I'm gonna go a little further than Andre. Full disclosure, I can't stand Kirk Cousins. He's probably one of my least favorite professional athletes of my lifetime. Everything about him, there's nothing to like. Now, that being said, though,
I don't know why
I like Kirk Cousins this year. I think Kirk Cousins has a breakout year. I think he's going to have his best. In fact, I think he's going to have his best season as a quarterback. And I'll take another stab at this. And I know this is going to sound controversial, or maybe I'm hating. This ain't nothing personal. I don't care that much. I don't have no energy for it. I think Jordan Love finishes the season. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to get hurt. I don't think Aaron. I think he's sneaky fragile.
That's not beyond.
I'm just saying. I think he's sneaky fragile, and I think the bottom of the bag falls out on the Packers. Like, Packers might only win 6 games this year.
Yeah, he's sneaky fragile, and when you start yelling at offensive linemen and pointing fingers, people stop blocking.
Exactly.
It's like, right. Grown men don't like to be talked to a certain way.
I'm still bigger than you, Aaron. Like, I know you make the money and all, and Mr. MVP, but let's see how this worked with Khalil Mack coming up the head. So I like, honestly, I don't, and when I say this, I don't mean it like it's going to be like, I'm not saying Minnesota's going to win 13 games.
No.
What I'm saying is, I think that the NFC North is that bad, and I think the 3 teams that are going to be bad and awful and horrible are going to be the Packers and the Lions and the Bears. Like, I think the Bears are going to be the second best team in that division, and it's not going to be close. I think Minnesota's going to run away with it with about 11 wins this year.
Wow.
I can feel that.
Yeah, quarterbacks win divisions, man. I'm sorry. I get what you're.
I don't think he's gonna hold up.
The logic, I get the logic. Like, the math is mathing, but with quarterbacks,
but Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers.
Quarterbacks are quarterbacks, bro. Like, I don't even feel like discussing Detroit, even though I'm a lightweight Dan Campbell fan. I like the boy. What's his name? Jamal Willis. Is that his name? No, Williams.
It's Williams. He's the guy.
The backup kid from BYU. He's a back. He's a running back. He's not the starter, but I like that kid.
He's going to get some run. Yeah.
I've been a fan of him. I like him as a human. There's a few people I root for. The St. Brown kid. I root for him.
You sound like you feel about Dan Campbell the same way that I kind of felt about Doug Peterson in Jacksonville. They're not going to make that leap, but I feel like he's the right man for the job at this time.
He's a good turnstile type of coach, exec, like Parcells was, that can turn the car around and get it in the right direction. He might not get it to the Super Bowl, but like the things that Parcells did in Dallas, the things he did in Miami, where he was able to turn the organization completely around to the right direction. And I think that's what Dan Campbell, he's that type of guy. However, Detroit's too far gone.
They got too many missing pieces.
They got too many problems. Chicago, same thing, too many problems. And as a Buckeye fan, Justin Fields fan, it's just one of those things where
he needs to be looking for his next team.
The arc of his career is out of his hands.
And completely out of his hands.
And hopefully he can be healthy enough to rebound and perform for the next team he plays for.
Okay. Yep.
That's how
he needs to be looking for his next team.
Yeah. I'm just saying, hopefully he can be healthy enough for his next team.
He got to be able to make it, And we're not just talking about physical; we're talking about mentally. This could easily be
a
David Carr situation.
Yes.
I was just literally we right there.
RG3. I mean, there's a few guys who were just ruined. Now, and it was beyond it wasn't them, it was the circumstances. And I think he's in one of those situations. But I just don't. Kirk Cousins, bro.
I think he's gonna have a fluke year. I
like the two kids. I like
what's around him. More
I like Phelan and Jefferson. I like those guys. But I don't think that's enough. I think Aaron Rodgers could go out there with us three and a back and win the division.
I don't know about Andre, but
you stupid.
Maybe.
Oh no, that's diet hate. You making up for a lot of years,
right?
A lot of years of just being on the back end. But
I believe he could take us out. He could take us out.
The thing about it is, though, I think
I don't think he could, because he ain't gonna. He got one time to talk funky to me.
Say I'm not gonna not block. I'm gonna tell him to play. Like, go get it. But no, here's the thing.
I'm gonna run the right route, and I'm gonna tell him to get it there and stop throwing it to somebody else.
But here's my thing about what you're saying, Paul. I think Devontae Adams, if you catch the other episode, I'll tell you that's Devontae Adams. I think is what a lot of these other receivers are getting credit for. I think Devontae Adams is actually that good a player. I think he's going to miss him a lot more.
He was wasn't Devontae Adams in a place before he got to Green Bay?
No, he was drafted by Green Bay. He was a second round pick.
Now
he missed some games, and Aaron Rodgers did fine in the games that he missed.
That's what I'm trying to say.
But last year, Devontae Adams turned into beyond a safety net. He turned into Aaron Rodgers' lifeline.
Yes.
Like
he was the whole.
He literally didn't trust anybody else to catch a pass. Like
they lost that game because he wouldn't throw to anybody except for Devontae Adams.
It wasn't even the fact that he wouldn't. Like, I can't complete it. I'm not even throwing it to you, though. I would rather throw 1-on-3 than
I've seen Brady do that in playoff games.
But and I'm saying, well, here's what I'm saying.
And we talk about Brady's weapons. Like it.
All jokes aside, though, what Andre's saying about him barking in camp or in preseason, barking at his receivers about not being where they're supposed to be and drop ball, I think that is a symptom of a much larger problem that's going to manifest itself this season. We're all going to see that outside of Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers wasn't lying. They really don't have that much.
We done lost Paul. He'll come back.
Because his take was trash. First of all. Yeah, I said it.
Yeah.
Your take was trash. No.
The wide receivers missing is going to be a huge.
I honestly believe
the lack of trust that he has in the other people.
And I think that here's what I'm saying. Normally it would be kind of like, oh, Minnesota will probably squeak out the division by default. I just think that Minnesota was actually better than their record showed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that what we find is that I think that there was a humongous drama. You know what it's kind of like, not to always take this back to a Bengals thing, but as great as Jamar Chase was, part of what made Jamar Chase as good as he was is that he had T. Higgins and he had Tyler Boyd. You had a safety valve in Uzomah. You have Joe Mixon. There's a plethora of options out there. I think that a lot of people criticize, and rightfully so, the fact that Aaron Rodgers, he was just insistent on throwing it to Devontae Adams. I think he knows why. And that fussing and coming out and commenting on these young receivers not being where they are, I think Aaron Rodgers knows he got a long season ahead of him. Like, not just because of Devontae Adams. Like, Devontae Adams is great. I think they're just that weak at the skill position.
At the skill position. Well,
I believe. Okay.
No, I was going to say, so, everybody talked about Jordan Love throwing the three interceptions in the preseason game. And this is the one thing you'll hear me say every time we do one of these football shows is stop stat lining it, because he was throwing interceptions, but them cats wasn't open either.
No.
Like, they were no separation. And those is going to be people who playing. Mm-hmm. And so it's going to be, again, I understand what Paul's sentiment is, that dude,
Aaron Rodgers is heads and shoulders above anybody in that division.
And ain't nobody else got a dude like him. But it's gonna be a tough one. Their defense is
Cousins
nice,
got Jefferson. Nice. It's Cousins and Jefferson versus Aaron Rodgers and nobody. That's what I'm saying.
I don't believe Lazard's a one. I don't. Now he's a one by default, but
he gonna have to be. Yeah.
Then he gonna rely on Randall Cobb. Your boy from
Randall Cobb, literally, Michigan. Paul can get out there and get you some numbers. If we talk about Randall Cobb is,
and I'm a fan of Randall.
I got about like 6 for like 75. They on the same series though. They on the same series though. That's it.
That's all you got. You got one series in you.
I'm about to pop them and get up out of there.
Yeah. We say keep the stretcher and the medical tent available.
Yeah.
So, okay, what's our prediction for we spent enough on this yuck mouth this division. Prediction for the NFC North. What you got, Paul?
I got Packers, man. One team comes out.
Vikings they're going to be surprised in the NFC this year. They're going to be 12 wins. They win the division.
Oh, he got 12.
I got the Vikings.
Wins? Wow. Wins. I got Vikings winning it, but with a record of 10-7. I think they're going to flip-flop where how the NFC – it's going to be one of those like the NFC East where it was like somebody got to win the division.
Somebody got to make the playoffs.
Somebody got to do it. Might as well be you.
Yeah, so 9-8, 10-7, somewhere in that range, but I got Minnesota pulling it out.
I'm looking at that schedule, and I see a lot of Commanders and Jets and Giants and I'm Dolphins. Like I said, I see 12 wins, but we'll see what happens. I'm sure Kirk Cousins will make a lie out of me because that's what he does. But let's move on now to the NFC West. And this is going to be This is kind of like the West and the AFC, right? Where it's like the funk is in this division. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we about to play some football out here.
Right.
like you.
Everybody but Seattle.
And here's the thing. and that's saying a lot too, because you talking about falling off. Man, it just don't feel like it was that long ago when we had the Legion of Boom. But the point is, we can summarily dismiss the Seahawks. Like, can we all just agree to throw them out?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They not gonna make
ain't nobody riding with Geno Smith.
Yeah. Okay. So we can agree on that.
Right.
No disrespect. I mean, y'all in the league, y'all making money playing the game that we love. But bottom line is, you coming in fourth. So let's move on and talk about Kyler Murray and Paul's boy, Super Bowl champion, the one
Stat Padford.
Yeah, Stat Padford, the one he was convinced. Like we say, y'all may not know this. Me and Paul went back and we was at each other's neck all year long about Stafford and Goff.
I said he better win, and he won.
Listen,
that win, boy.
Do you understand how conflicted I was? I was like, I wanted Matthew Stafford to win that Super Bowl so bad, but I was like, not against the Bengals. Why?
Right. And then that made it even worse. He better win.
Boy.
Stafford's already been – he won you money, so he's good with me.
And here's the thing, and I'll be honest, I think it's pretty obvious. I mean, the storyline kind of writes itself. The most interesting story – I'm not talking about the best team necessarily. The most interesting story in the NFC West has got to be the San Francisco 49ers because you're coming off of Jimmy G, who, fine, he don't give you the sizzle that you want, but the man's a proven winner.
Is he?
Yes, as a matter of fact, he is.
He wins it. He wins.
He wins games.
The regular season games. Yeah, he definitely wins. I mean, he's won 70% of the games he started. So he is.
You're going from 70%. It's over 70% of his game to an unknown.
But how does San Francisco win games?
Oh, they win it by Debo and
he's
running
getting
and
credit. I'm not saying that the stat is fair. Yeah. I'm just saying that the games he starts, they
wins and losses are wins fair or unfair. Wins and losses are quarterback stats. We could argue that he's had good rosters, whatever. Here's my point. My point is that in looking, I feel like the most interesting story, frankly, one of the most interesting stories in the NFL has got to be the 49ers quarterback situation. You're moving off of safe and known to high ceiling unknown. Am I right?
No.
So we know what we got at quarterback in San Francisco?
No, you never knew what you had, is what I'm saying. It was always speculation, even with porn star Jimmy. It was speculation because it was all based off of practice tape.
Why you got to say nasty stuff?
You know what I'm saying? Every time.
Porn star Jimmy. Look, man. It is what it is. I ain't mad at him. If I was in his situation, I might go that route my daggone self. You know what I'm saying? If I was a single young fella, I mean, I might do that too. It's way less stress.
Back when I was a Ute.
I give him credit. He's gorgeous. I will say that. Jimmy's gorgeous. But anyway, we talking about football. Like, can he do the job that we need for him to play football?
Okay, fair enough. And
I don't know that I just don't know that I believe that Trey Lance.
I don't know I ever believed in the hype of Jimmy Garoppolo because he's always been hurt.
He is another
always
fragile. He is definitely fragile.
So
and he is Italian, so that's hilarious.
Wow!
Shout out to the Christmas story.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
You went fragile and you Italian.
Right. 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 Right.
So what? Okay, if that's not the most interesting storyline, then what is?
I would say the fact that Kyler Murray became the highest paid quarterback in the world at 5'3".
Oh, forget at 5'3", 5'3", and he don't watch no film.
And he don't watch film. Boy, how you do that? And you got a coach. You got a coach hired that couldn't win in college in a subpar conference. Who had Pat Mahomes.
Yeah. And here's the thing, and we did all this, and we acting like the Super Bowl champs ain't coming back.
I ain't had my turn yet, so I was letting that go.
Okay, well now you got your turn.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So first off, we covered this on a couple episodes ago. The story for the Arizona Cardinals is going to be that they're not going to be any good. And they paying $50 million to this 4 hour a week study hall.
What you say, Paul? A little micro mini pimp,
right?
So, because I just don't think they're going to be a team like they need to be. D-Hop's sitting out the first. Well, not sitting out. He is out involuntarily for the first 8 games. Is it 6 or 6 games?
6 or 8.
6 games.
I think it's a wrap.
AJ Green is legit. my age, like
So I think it's a wrap before it even
AJ Green
starts.
got alligator arms. He always has.
I think that they season
used
is
to get
over
mad
before
at
it
me.
even
I used to
starts.
pull the film up on you back in the day, Billy. Like, why didn't he go for this, Bill?
Yeah, he don't. He
said, he said,
if
hey,
he
the way
see
my
danger,
contract set
it's a
up.
wrap. If he see danger, no, it's just a game.
he ain't getting that hazard.
I gotta be here for the next game.
But so I got Arizona just being way out of it. I got them with 6 wins at tops. Seattle is going to be awful. I got Seattle almost in the running for the number 1 pick for next year because I think they're going to be that.
In that division, ain't no almost. They're going to be the top. They're going to get a top 3 pick.
They're going to definitely be in the top 3. I'm just saying, Seattle I don't know if they're going to get to number 1 just because I got the Bears being that awful. That's literally how I feel about the Bears. The Bears are
I think the Bears.
We ain't even got to the NFC South.
The Bears are going to be that awful. But regardless, so Seattle and Arizona, I got out of it. So it does come down to the 49ers and the Rams. I'm actually high on Trey Lance, not because, and I know we talked about this where we haven't seen him, in regular games and he hadn't played much, but this is going to be a shout out to the coach. I think Shanahan will simplify the game and make it easier for him to just succeed. Like, I don't think it's not going to be like, we're not going to look and be like, yeah, he had a great quarterbacking year. Like, I think he's just going to show he's a freakish athlete and he completed just enough throws to keep it spicy. So I got them with the wild card, but I can't go against the Rams they're the Super Bowl champs. Like, and I don't think they got worse. And so I got them being able to repeat as the champs of the West. But with and I think they'll get Odell back as well. But I like the pickup of Allen Robinson. I think that's huge. To go with I don't know why he's never. I get why he's never talked about, but or as far as being the best receiver, but him with Cooper Kupp, I think is going to be dangerous. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that frees Allen Robinson up to just go off. In this scenario,
freeze Coop or freeze Kupp up.
Somebody gonna go.
Somebody gonna get theirs. Yeah.
What's the old boy that wears number 12? That had the baby the day after the Super Bowl. The other receiver, but he was a deep threat. So
the other guy.
So between all of them, I think they're gonna go.
They got some real talent. Yeah,
and they got in the running back position shored up too. It's just gonna be based on.
And he'll be healthy. From the start of the season.
Yeah. Yep. So it's just gonna be one. Does Jalen Ramsey did him being humbled last year get him back to focus? Because he got his lunch handed to him in the Super Bowl. And he got his lunch handed to him against Tampa Bay. So did he go back to the lab and get better? And can Aaron Donald just continue to be Aaron Donald? There's no reason to think he won't. But until they prove otherwise, I gotta say their offense is going to be strong enough to be able to pull it out. But I got both them and San Fran in the playoffs again. But I got the Rams with 13 wins and San Fran at 12. So that's what I'm with.
I can't, man. I'll go and then Paul, we'll get your official prediction. I can't give you a compelling reason why the 49ers will somehow supplant the Rams as the best team in that division, even though you can make arguments and, find little nitpicking things. What I will say is this. I think the 49ers are going to find out, not necessarily because of Shanahan's coaching. I think they're going to find out that the time that Jimmy G spent in New England under Brady was a lot more invaluable than people realize. Like, he's not a great quarterback, but he makes, sometimes even bordering on too safe, he makes choices. And it's like, that's the one thing about certain players, like they have all the arm talent in the world and maybe they have a higher ceiling and a higher upside, but they just don't make the right decisions. And I find that Jimmy Garoppolo's decision-making has been very underrated. I think the 49ers are going to miss him. And I think that's the reason why I would have to give the division to the Rams.
I would give the division to the Rams on experience, but I believe San Francisco knows what they're doing. I got San Francisco coming out of there. They have the Rams number.
This is true. That's what I said. And I'll say this. In that conference in particular, personally, I kind of feel like it's 6 for one, half dozen for the other. Neither of them cares how they get in. It's when they get in.
Right.
They're going to get in. Both of them in my opinion. I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but they're both getting in.
And let's keep it 100. Tackle football always wins in the winter, especially in the winter.
When it's cold.
And San Francisco is one of the few teams that play tackle football.
Yeah, I don't care if you call it
they don't do nothing cute
or whatever.
Ain't nothing cute.
December and January, yeah.
Oh, not in the Bay, but I'm just saying they play like they from Cleveland or Chicago.
That's my point. It travels.
Yeah, it goes.
That's why
they go.
Yeah. It goes with
it. You're absolutely right. It travels. So they can go to Philly and win a playoff game. They can go to Lambeau and win a playoff game in January because the way they play travels. They not throwing the ball sideline to sideline around the yard 50 times a game where you got to figure something else out and make some adjustments. And
they got some special talent. Like I said, I don't have any strong feeling one way or the other, because frankly, I feel like both of them are going to get in, and it's just kind of who stays healthy, the breaks, what is Lance going to do.
And I feel like they're kind of built like Kansas City,
a little bit,
with Kittle and Debo. They kind of function off of those two guys, and it's kind of an inside-out game. But you still they're still playmakers. They still can change the score from anywhere on the field.
Let me tell you something. Real talk, Kittle and Debo are two of my favorites in all the NFL because they just do the job.
Right.
They ain't about them commercials. They about give me the ball. Give me the ball.
Don't do that. No, don't do that.
No,
they get paid. I live out west. They getting paid.
No. What I mean,
they're not short in Delaware, but they getting paid. They getting that bag.
No. What I'm saying is. My point is, they're not divas in that sense. That's what I meant. I mean,
I get what you're
there
saying.
Are diva characters and diva personalities.
Kittle getting paid, bro.
Yeah, but that's because he's Kittle. George. I'm simply saying they don't have.
I'm talking about on the endorsement front.
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about on the field.
It don't. They're diva. That stuff doesn't bleed over to the field. Like I'm not a diva on the field. Like
I'm not a diva.
George Kittle is a straight.
Everybody made a big deal about Debo Samuel getting his money and whatever else. And I'm like, that's all fine and good in the offseason. Debo go make a play. You just got to get the ball in his hand.
Kittle is the closest thing we've seen to an upgrade of Gronk.
Yes.
He's the actual upgrade.
See what I'm saying.
He's the upgrade. He's not like him over. He's the upgrade.
Him right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he the 2.0, right.
Yeah, he's the upgrade,
So I like their play. I just don't know if either way it goes. Like I said, I think we all can agree in that division, it pretty spells itself out.
Well, you got the Super Bowl hangover as well, so that can factor in. But I believe San Francisco will win the division. Yeah, and like you said, I believe both will get in.
Both get in, and I'll say this last thing: I think Cooper Kupp is going to have an encore season. I think he is going to cement his route. Like he is literally going to pave his route to Cooperstown this year because people are going to realize that what we've all seen for years now, Cooper Kupp is not a fluke. No, he had an amazing year last year, but I think this year he's going to be like, no. I am exactly what you saw.
The only reason Jared Goff doesn't have a Super Bowl ring is because Cooper Kupp blew his knee out down the stretch, and so did Todd Gurley. Yep. And that is why I felt the way I felt about Stat Padford last year.
Boo, is that he better win. We're not doing this.
He better win.
Ain't Jared Goff still in Detroit?
Right. And Jared Goff would have won that ring last year. Jared Goff would have won that championship last year. Come on, man. He would have had Cooper Kupp and OBJ. Are you serious?
Systems, styles make fights.
Weapons.
Okay.
Coach didn't trust him.
Let's not. And you know what? Shout out to Jalen Ramsey, because we all play ball and we know that Cooper Kupp's trajectory is directly related to having to play against Jalen Ramsey every day in practice.
Yep. Now I will give you that. That definitely makes a difference. Who you're out there on scout team, who you're having to go up against, who you're having to defend, it definitely makes a difference. Especially when you see other people who are elite. Jalen Ramsey is like,
well, he's the best in the world.
Regardless,
he got torched in the Super Bowl. Got torched against he's still the best in the world by far.
I'll put it this way. He's probably, I would go as far as to say Jalen Ramsey's probably out there. He's one of the few players where it's like, I'd say in the past 25 years, he's easy top 3 or 4. Like, I mean, you can rank him however you want to.
Right.
Jalen Ramsey is one of the best who I've ever seen do it.
Revis, him. That's
my point. You can't argue that.
I don't have a problem with that. Yeah,
you can't argue that. Yeah.
Yeah, he got lit up in the Super Bowl. Yeah, he got lit. It happened.
But it's who he got lit up against.
If you play DB, you spent most of your time getting killed.
Yes, that's your job.
Go to any college camp where they have high schoolers out there, and they got them out there in the 1v1s, and them DBs is out there getting 8
torched. Yes,
8.
That's your whole entire job.
Your whole entire job is to have a short memory.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Because you're going to get beat. You went up against Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and CJ Uzomah in the Super Bowl. It was bound to happen. There's no shame. There's no shame in T. Higgins manhandling you. That's what he does.
You got It happened.
Yeah. So, with that being said, we got a brief reprieve from the yuck in the NFC North. We looked at the West, but now we're going way back in them yucky, swampy waters again.
Go down in the swamp.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of swamp.
Go down to Dixie.
Yeah. We going to head on that. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. Let's talk about the NFC South. So we got New Orleans. We got the Carolina Panthers. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we got the Atlanta Falcons. Is there anything, forget compelling, there's always some drama. Is there anything exciting going on in this division this year? Do we even care about this division this year?
Yes.
So, yes. And I'm going to give the I don't, you can call it a hot take if you want to call it that, but the Carolina Panthers will make the playoffs.
Shake and bake.
The Carolina Panthers with Baker Mayfield will make the playoffs.
At 7-9 or 7-10.
Somewhere in that range. I ain't saying they're gonna win anything. I'm saying they're gonna make the playoffs.
They're gonna get that 7th spot.
They're gonna get the 7th spot.
Baker Mayfield.
They are going to be.
I got Jameis. I got Jameis and the Saints coming out with 11 and a half wins.
Wow.
Now, those of y'all who don't know me and don't know nothing about how I feel, maybe this is the first time you've ever seen The Great Matters and you're thinking, well, how would I know this? Well, I'm going to tell you something. Now, people who know me, you talk about a hot take. I am extremely high on Jameis Winston this year. I think Jameis Winston, I'm not predicting where he'll end up, but I think he's going to get MVP votes.
Yes. Oh, you sound like me.
I think hey man, I'm bound to the truth. I honestly believe that Jameis Winston is going to show his maturity all those years in Tampa Bay, because he got a lot. I'll put it to you this way. He got a lot of what Baker got in Cleveland.
He got Baker before Baker.
Yep. Now, granted, Baker had a lot more materials to work with other than Evans. Like, Jameis didn't have nothing like what Baker had in Cleveland as far as like the defense.
What you talking about? Tom came in with the same group and won the Super Bowl, my man. Don't do that.
No. What I'm saying, listen to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is what Baker had in Cleveland. Keep in mind, we're talking about at the time in their career when they had them. Okay. I'm saying Jameis had a lot more. As far as I'm concerned, he got a lot of unfair criticism that I don't necessarily know that he deserved, and I'm willing to admit I had a little bias. I had a problem with the whole crab legs.
You had the tiki torch at the head of the mob, though.
I ain't gonna lie. Hey, I was like, nope.
He's over here.
Yes. Okay. I was throwing tiki torches and rocks in the window, burning the house down. That being said, though, I really do believe that Jameis is going to have one of those years that he's going to be able to erase some of the stigma and some of the stuff that was surrounding him, just the boneheaded stuff from just being young and immature. I've never disliked Jameis as a human. I just felt like he did dumb stuff. Right. And it was frustrating to see him doing dumb stuff. It was just boneheaded stuff. But I think that he's in a totally different situation. I think, honestly, if it hadn't been for that injury last year, that would have been the conversation last year. I think he was on the right trajectory. I don't know how I feel about the new brass coming in New Orleans yet. So that's still kind of a question because Sean Payton's gone. I also feel like with the South, we have to consider Tampa doesn't have the same personnel.
They don't have the same structure. They don't have
the same nothing.
And y'all see the jersey I got on. I love Tommy. I don't love Tampa, but I love Tommy. And you see, he had to take a week off. They had Bowles come on there talking about, I don't know when he coming back. I expect him back by week 1.
Listen, that last year, remember, wasn't it that I think they lost to the Titans, in fact. That last year when Tom was in New England.
Yes,
yeah.
That was
and they lost to the Titans. I remember because I was on my cruise that year. I was watching the game. The way that he looked, and everybody was like, it's over. What? No, the Patriots, literally, the cupboard was bare. It was Tom Brady and nothing else on that side of the ball. I kind of feel like Tampa's maybe just a hair better roster-wise than that Patriots.
Now you're going back to my Aaron Rodgers point.
Okay. And so what I'm saying is
Green Bay's going to win that division because of just that. You talking about Tom Brady getting that raggedy ass team to play the Titans. That was Vrabel's first year, right?
That was Vrabel's. Yep, that was his first year. And I'll say this just real quick note because prior to I'll just say it like this: the Atlanta Falcons used to be my NFC team. I used to love the Falcons. And frankly, that's because prime time. You know, I mean, Deion Sanders was there. We're talking about when I was a kid.
But that wasn't even his team after like 3-4 years.
I know this. That's not. Let me finish. Okay. So then I moved to Atlanta. I spent about a decade down there in Atlanta. I love Atlanta. I consider Atlanta my home. Like when I tell people when I retire, I'm going to move back home. Atlanta's probably that spot. But they're not worth talking about this year in any real serious way. And it's no disrespect. I know y'all love it, Dirty Birds, the whole nine, but I just can't take y'all seriously. So I really feel like it's a 2-team.
Shout out to the Bearcat, though. He should be in the lineup by Halloween because Marcus Mariota can't stay healthy.
He won't. He won't stay healthy. So Ritter's going to get his shot, and I'm happy for Ritter. Obviously, as a Bearcat fan and being from Cincinnati, I love the Bearcats, but. The point is, I don't think that they're going to make any noise at all. I'm not saying they're going to be I'm not saying they're going to be in the running for the number 1 overall pick, but they're going to pick in the top 10 this year. So
6 wins tops.
Yeah,
6-7 wins.
That's
absolutely
a lot. If Atlanta gets to 6 or 7 wins, that's.
I'm definitely not getting 7. I'm thinking 5 or 6, but
but the division is so ass. There's 3 wins in that division.
I kind of here's the thing. I'll say this, and I know this isn't going to make Paul happy. I think that the Buccaneers are dangerously close to not getting in the playoffs. I think it's going to be. I really think it's going to be between, and we'll get to it when we get to our predictions. I think that the Saints are going to win a not so close division.
Yes.
I think they'll probably, and I'm not even talking about win totals. I'm just saying I think they're going to be the top of the division. And I kind of feel like Carolina is going to be nipping at Tampa's here just because of what Tampa lost.
Yeah.
Tampa's losing a lot. The coach changed. Everything is different.
They just lost the center, the best center in football.
Was it an Achilles with him?
They saying months.
Yeah.
So they saying he may be back.
So it wasn't an Achilles if they saying months. They talking about it. It was probably a knee. Or shoulder or whatever.
But
whatever it is, yeah.
But I think coaching matters, and I think Dennis Allen being a coach in New Orleans over Sean Payton, I think is going to have a bigger impact. I'm not saying that I don't think that the Saints are going to be formidable, and I wouldn't even put it past having 3 teams from this division in the playoffs. I just think because I got Tampa Bay winning it.
You said you would put past 3 of these guys getting in?
I got Tampa Bay and I got Carolina, and I wouldn't be shocked if New Orleans made it. Like I got New Orleans and Tampa and Carolina fighting it out with the same, like kind of the same records. Like I had, 10 wins somewhere in that range.
Yeah. Okay.
So when you're looking at the NFC, because I know we ain't there yet.
New Orleans is the best on paper, right? Like we all agree. New Orleans by far is easily.
Right now
but Tampa has the best player that ever lived.
Right.
So that's why we can't count them out, even though they don't have much.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you go. You have to get a punch of chance just on.
Yeah. But Tampa Bay is going to get people back. So that if they can just kind of hover until Godwin comes back and things like that,
if they can go you're saying if they can go 4 and 5, they can make a late run.
What if Julio drinks?
They said Julio is looking. I don't know how long he's gonna look good, but they said he's been looking like the 2019 Julio. So all I'm saying, if they can just hover, I feel like they can still make the noise. I ain't saying they going to the Super Bowl. I'm just saying they can make the noise to make the playoffs. But again, we got Minnesota. I got San Fran and the Rams. And we got somebody that got to win the South and the East. Like the East ain't getting a bunch of teams in.
No, the East ain't getting to it.
We ain't even got there yet.
So the East ain't getting
let's hold that.
Ain't nobody getting the 10 wins in the East.
So when I say 3 teams out of the South, like it's got to come from something. We got to get some playoff teams from somewhere. And so
this is true. Now everybody said you're right. That's one of the struggles that the NFC frankly has that I remember several years ago the AFC had, where it was like super top heavy.
Mm-hmm.
You had like 3 or 4 good teams, and then you had other ones where it's like somebody got to show up. I'll go first, and I'll just give you my prediction. I think New Orleans is going to win the division. I think that I just think there's too much turnover in Tampa, both on the roster and the coaching side. There's nothing against Todd Bowles, respect, but I feel like this. At Tom Brady's age, there's entirely too much for him to do. Mm-hmm. It's one of those situations where it's not his fault. It's not I'm not saying Tom.
I'm a LeBron type situation.
Exactly. That is my concern with Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron, like what LeBron did this year in the NBA, where it's like, dude, you averaged, I think, his second highest scoring in his whole career, but there was literally the cover was better. There was nothing else. I think Tom, at his age, at what is his year 20? Like 22? Yeah. Okay. You're at year 22 and you're expecting this man to care. Like he literally is a year and a half younger than me. I'm not even being funny. Like I'm absolutely serious. He is a year and a half younger than I am. And he is still playing at a top level, mind you. But man, at some point, when is he? Anyway. I got New Orleans winning it. I don't think it's going to be that close. I think Carolina makes it interesting for a wild card, trying to nip at the heels of Tampa. Mm-hmm. But I really don't think there's going to be much separation between the two of them just because of the way those rosters are set up. And respect to the Falcons, you're a professional franchise.
Mm-hmm.
So what you got?
For me?
Yeah, I went first.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say I already laid mine out. I got Tampa winning the division and Carolina getting the wild card.
Yeah, I got New Orleans. I was the first one to say New Orleans winning it with like 11 and a half, 12 games. Okay. I don't think it's going to be that close. And like you said, I actually agree with you, Rev, that Tampa may get to 9-10 wins and Carolina will be somewhere around 7-9, nipping at them for
Again, there'll be a game behind them. It's not going to be that much separation, but I think New Orleans is definitely going to separate themselves. And then finally, because we are contractually obligated, because this is the rules of the show that we just made up on the fly.
Right.
That if your team is represented here, that we have to respect you by letting your division go last. So we're going to end up in something worse than a swamp.
Wow.
We got to talk about the NFC East. Now, let me just go on record. Man, I don't even know that one team is going to come out of this division. One. In my opinion, I think there's going to be one team with it's like playing spades where you just be like, man, we going board. Like, I got one team in a possible, but it's a long shot because I ain't got but 3 spades in my hand. And honestly, I kind of sort of feel like it's going to be the Cowboys.
Wow.
As much as it pains me to say it. And it's not because I don't like the Cowboys, but I honestly feel like something Paul said in our last show, quarterbacks make the difference. Or he even said that about Aaron Rodgers. There is nobody with a straight face that can tell me that they believe that Jalen Hurts is better at his job than Dak Prescott.
But they might tell you that Carson Wentz is.
Okay, but Carson, then we got to start talking about talent, coaching, rosters and all that stuff. All I'm saying is there's 2 teams in this division I take seriously when they show up on the schedule, the Cowboys and the Eagles. They're clearly the 2 best teams in this division, in my opinion. No disrespect, because the Giants are a professional football franchise. All of these young men are getting paid to play a game that we all love. They've all made it to a level that I never saw. But that's as much as I want to talk about the Giants. Pretty much for the rest of the season. And so now we're left with what? The Commanders, who I don't think it's anything personal other than the fact I don't think that their roster matches up. It's a division between the Eagles and the Cowboys. I feel like it's close enough man-to-man on a 53-man roster on each Sunday. I feel like it's close enough that we got to look at what is the difference. It's definitely not the coach, because McCarthy is questionable at best. Okay? Like, he is subject to a lot of, like, I don't want to say he's mediocre because I guess the man won a Super Bowl, but it's like I don't even know what to feel about it. Bottom line is I feel like the difference between the Eagles and the Cowboys is the quarterback, and I love Jalen Hurts. I really feel like Jalen Hurts, I frankly appreciate, and I know this is Paul's boy. I love Jalen Hurts. Yeah, I feel like Jalen Hurts has proved all the doubters wrong, including myself. This is not
one of my favorite human beings of all time.
Yeah, and so it's not. This is not a referendum on the Eagles, their prospects for the future. Do I think Jalen Hurts is a starter? None of that. I just feel like Dakota's better, and that's all I got.
Wow, I'll go because I want. We'll let him close the show.
I see the steam.
We'll do that. All right. I'll be honest. I believe the Cowboys are actually firmly in 3rd place. By far. It's not even close. It's a 2. You're right. It's a 2-horse race, but it's Philly and DC, bro. Those are the 2 most talented teams in the division. And what it's going to come down to, has Hurts grown enough, or has Carson Wentz grown enough?
Let's pause there for a second, though, real quick, Paul. I'm going to let you finish, but let me just ask this question then.
All right.
Because I only took it in the 2 teams that I picked. Andre, sit out for this one. Say this, okay? Just Go over there. I know you steaming up. There you go. Get you a drink. Get you a cold drink. Can you tell me with a straight face that Jalen Hurts is better at his job than Carson Wentz?
I think they both have the exact same problem, but in a different way. Okay. They both need to mature and they both need to grow. The difference is Carson Wentz needs to understand that there are other good football players on the field with him. Jalen Hurts needs to just grow and learn more and mature.
The game, just let the game come to him.
You see what I'm trying to say? That we were talking about Joe when I was saying he got a little Jameis Winston.
Yes.
And Jameis and Carson have the same problem.
By the way, I agree with you on that. 100%.
They've been the most elite humans on most football fields they've ever touched. So they believe they have more time than you think they have. Oh, I'll just throw him on the ground. I got more time. I can get to 7 Mississippi because I'm the biggest, strongest son of a gun out here, and I can throw it a mile. That's where their mistakes come in, is believing that they're so much better specimens than the people they're playing against.
Let me give you some pushback on that real quick, Paul, before we let Andre finally just boil over on this. I kind of feel like I agree with you to an extent, except I look at the trajectory of Jalen Hurts' career. He faced that level of adversity when he was in college when Tua came in.
No, that was politics.
Okay, but my point is, either way, he got benched. He had to take a back seat. And what I'm saying is I find the same thing to be true, even though it was a different type of adversity, when Carson Wentz got hurt and then came back and literally got booed out of the city of Philadelphia, which is not new. Philadelphia boos like everybody at some point, unless you're like Michael Jack Schmidt, like you're going to get booed. But my point is, and even like when you're talking about Joe Burrow, like Joe Burrow has had to actually face the fact that you're not the most special athlete on the field. Mm-hmm. The question is, who do you think believes that and embraces that more? Who do you think is willing to accept their role more, Jalen Hurts or Carson Wentz?
We know who that is. You answered your own question. That's not a. Come on, man. Come on. Nobody who's ever heard of Alabama, Oklahoma, or the Eagles would know that we know the answer to that question. It's not about, like I said, Jalen Hurts has to grow as a player, not as a man. Carson Wentz needs to grow as a man. He's already a great talent and a player. You see what I'm trying to say? Yeah. And if Carson Wentz was more mature as a man, he probably wouldn't have as many injuries on his jacket.
You're right. No, that no doubt. Let me just say before I hand this over to Dre and before he literally snatches the mic, going back to what I previously asserted, do you believe that, since we talked about Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts, who do you believe is the best quarterback in the division?
Who, me?
I'm asking Paul only because I want you to say it before Andre goes.
Wow. Tyrod Taylor?
Okay, he can't be used.
He's in the division.
Pick another one.
Why can't I use him? He's in the division.
Okay, who's second? Who's behind Tyrod Taylor? Who's the second best quarterback behind Tyrod Taylor? I'm putting you on record.
It's a 3-way tie between
Daniel Jones, Tyrod Taylor.
No, it's a 3-way tie between Dak, Hurts, and Wentz.
So you're saying they're basically interchangeable?
They're basically the same guy. They have different talents and different gifts, different games, but you're gonna get where you're gonna get with each of those guys as presently constructed. If Carson Wentz grew as a human being, he's a Super Bowl quarterback, but he's the only one in that division that has that kind of talent, in my opinion.
Jalen Hurts?
No, he does not have that kind of talent. He has that kind of intangibles. He has Super Bowl intangibles, leadership intangibles, but I'm just talking about raw, just elite talent, just grown man like that dude. Give me that dude on my team. Carson Wentz is a stud.
Yeah, Carson Wentz. Yeah. Okay. Just for the record, I agree with you. I just wanted you to say it before Andre come out here and start throwing haymakers and getting all up in his feelings. So, Andre, the floor is yours.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, let me just go ahead.
Oh.
You turn the volume down.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm going to start off calm because I'm going to talk about the Giants for 1 second. So, and it's literally just going to be 1 second. Yusuf Corker, nephew-in-law. Go ahead and do your thing, dog. Make the team.
There you go. Yeah. Shout out. Yep. That is the reason for me to watch the Giants. Yes.
So that is all I got to say about the Giants. They're going to be a mess. Tyrod Taylor actually is the better quarterback on the team. Yes. He's better than Daniel Jones. But yeah, my only purpose in light of watching the Giants will be for nephew-in-law Yusuf Corker.
My bad to cut you off. Hold that thought. Yeah. I did this wrong, and I get on people. It bothers me. His name is Tyrod.
Yeah. Okay. Tyrod Taylor. Yeah,
but the media's been calling him Tyrod for so long.
And he allowed
like the Terrell Owens.
And you know who hit me to that? Mm-hmm. Baker Mayfield in Hard Knocks. He was like, why y'all call him he's told y'all this ain't his name. His name is Tyrod.
Yep.
Fair point. So
but go ahead.
That was
so young man, do your thing.
Make the squad keep shining. All right.
Yes,
so that's all I got about the Giants. All right. So the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are going to be a 7-ish win team. Mm-hmm. I don't think their offensive line is good at all.
It isn't.
They have good players. Like Zach Martin is a Hall of Famer. He's not what he once was, but he's
still going to represent.
90% of what he was is still a Hall of Fame player. Like he was that good. Yeah. But I think their offensive line is a mess. I think them losing Amari Cooper and just putting CeeDee Lamb as the number one option, and that's it.
They also lost Cedric Wilson.
They also lost to Cedric Wilson.
And then they got somebody who got hurt.
Gallup got hurt.
Is not coming back until probably week 10 or 11. So, yeah, no, I think the Cowboys, they're another team kind of like what I talked about last week with the Titans where – turnovers, you can't bank on that many turnovers. Like you eventually will fall back to the mean. And if they don't have those turnovers, they also don't win the division last year. So
especially when you consider Zeke ain't Zeke.
Zeke ain't Zeke.
He ain't coming back.
Zeke ain't Zeke because
only what the line is. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So not behind his line.
Don't do that to Zeke.
If you put him, my point, if you put Zeke on a different team, then yeah. But
if Zeke was in Indianapolis, Zeke would run for 1,600 yards.
Yeah. So
he would have a hole 5 miles wide before he sees the first player. Yeah.
So you got that, but also the thing that I don't understand why people don't talk about it with the Cowboys, but I have no problems being the person that brings it up. I do not think that their offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, is that good.
He's not. Not is he not that good? I think he's bad.
He falls in love with throwing the football when I know we just said the offensive line isn't good, but damn, dog, like you got to at least try. Like
they're professionals.
Politics, man. They got to justify paying Dak all that daggone money, so they got to throw the ball in order to justify it. Like it's weird. Like instead of just saying this, we need this guy. This is what he costs, and we're going to run what we run to win how we win. We got to change everything we do because he makes so much money.
And even if you like, I think about it, and I'll take it a step further even than that, Paul. Even when you think about the fact that. Like we were just talking about Zeke not quite being Zeke, but it didn't have to be that way because you still had Pollard. Like they could have still run the ball. They didn't have to just abandon their entire offense. But again, that's the politics of justifying who you're paying the money. And so Kellen Moore, not only with Dak, but also I got to justify the money by giving Zeke some run. It's like, I mean, it is what it is.
But see, that's why I have them being a mess is because you have a bad offensive coordinator who has to answer to Jerry. And because in any other circumstance or in most other circumstances, we'll say, if you're looking like Zeke's hurt, but he might be able to give us 15 carries. Pollard is athletic, and we can put him out on the wide receiver.
He fits better with this bad offensive line.
We can put him all over the place.
Right. Why can't they play together?
Yeah. Right. So they can do all these different things. But no, I got to justify the fact that I put Amari Cooper and I paid him. I got to pay Zeke. I got to pay. All the people who getting money got to get the ball. Even though the best opportunity may be for the people who I ain't paying the most.
But you said that Jerry Jones. You said he's still thinking about Emmett and Troy and playmaker. He's still back in that.
But to have a coaching staff that has
back and quarterback.
But the fact that you got a coaching staff that has to answer to him in that manner, at
willing to answer to him.
I get it if you got to answer questions at the end where stuff didn't work. You're like, hey, Jerry, we'll do this, we'll try this, whatever. But in game, let me call my game in game, and if it don't work, then we'll deal with the consequences after that. But they don't have that situation. It's like Jerry is a part of the game plan, and as long as that, but the part of the game plan is with his pocketbooks. You can't let your pocketbook be a part of the game plan.
Well, Jerry ain't the only one, Dre.
He's the only one, but he's
the only one that's willing to own it.
Yes, he's the most prominent one. Because you think about it, when have the Cowboys actually ever won when Jerry had the last say?
It ain't even about Jerry. Mike Brown do it.
Okay, when has he ever won?
My point, though, is that Jerry's the only one who's willing to get on camera and get out front and say, oh, yeah, I told them to throw the ball to him. Yeah. This is what we do. I paid him this for this reason. Give him the ball.
The only other one who got out front above it was Al Davis. He was the only other one that got way out in front of the cameras and be like, yeah, we going deep. I done told everybody we going deep.
I don't care what they think. I hired him. We going deep.
Yeah, so that's my bang on the Cowboys. Mike McCarthy is a hot mess. I don't think I know he does have a Super Bowl, but you also had Aaron Rodgers and some Hall of Famers on defense. Mike McCarthy is not that good of a coach. At doing the job that he was hired to do, manage time, and
y'all forgot
install discipline.
Y'all forgot he was out there on his Deshaun Watson before he left Green Bay. He was skipping meetings, getting massages in the coaches' quarters. Y'all remember they were saying that? So
that's why I got the Cowboys where they at. I got them at 6, 7 wins, somewhere in that range, but missing the playoffs completely.
Come on, man. Come on now. Get to the point. Let's talk
I'm working my way to the point.
He about to get to DC. He working his way up 95.
So now we on DC.
All right.
The
command on the Beltway.
Right.
I actually think they took a step back defensively last year.
Okay.
Only because Chase got hurt.
Well, that's my point. I think this is where they take a step forward again.
Yes.
So I think with Chase being back and just another year into the system, I think that the Commanders is going to be a struggle for me to get that out. The Commanders are going to be a tough out. Yeah. So I got them. I got them with 10 wins, solid. And I also have them
10.
Yeah, I got them with 10 wins. I think Carson Wentz is that talented. It's not a shock to say he's that talented. He's just stubborn as hell. And I think
he's Jay Cutler Jr.
Yeah, and it's not. I mean, at this point, you are who you are, and until you change that, then things are going to remain the same. It's not a secret. Every locker room he left has had the same comments about him. Every coach that he has left has had the same comments about him.
It's not everybody else. It's him.
Yeah. So you on your last leg here. This is really the last shot on whether you're going to be a starter in the NFL or if you're just going to be a career journeyman at that point.
Yep.
So I feel like he gets it, but also I believe they have some talent. They have real talent and they play hard. So I think
they've drafted really well. Free agency, they've done well in DC.
Yeah. So I think that's why,
Let me ask you a question real quick though.
Yeah.
Do you actually this is neither here nor there as far as our predictions and what's going to happen this year. Do you really think this is Wentz's last stop if he doesn't make anything out of it, though?
I think this is his last stop going into his
like a legitimate, like you are a legitimate starter.
You're not there's no quarterback competition. You're our starter. Like I think this is the last stop of that.
Okay, where he's not going to have to walk in and compete.
Right,
like Andy Dalton last year when he went to Chicago.
Yeah,
right. Oh no, the year before I think.
The year before when he went to Dallas. He was backing up Dak, and then he went to Chicago.
And he was supposed to have a job.
He was supposed to have.
But then Justin Fields was like, "No." But that again,
it wasn't Justin Fields. It was the team was so bad. It was.
That's what I'm saying. The team was so bad, he got hurt, and Justin Fields had to play. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So
Andy Dalton started that revenge game. That was the beginning of the revenge tour. They beat the Bengals.
Yeah.
So so with that, like I just think this is his last shot. And you are going in as a starter, no competition, whatever. Because after that, like Seattle needs a quarterback. He can end up on Seattle, but he's gonna compete with Jake Locker, and like there's gonna be an open quarterback competition. Like
yes.
So that's that. But I do believe that they're going to be at least a really solid football team that plays good defense, good to great defense. And has enough on offense. Scary Terry is Scary Terry. Like the man can play. He can play, and I like the running back.
He earned his money. That contract he got. Oh, he earned that.
And if Logan can stay healthy at the tight end position, they gonna be all right. But all that to lead up to this.
You went a long way to get a very short distance.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Do I think that Jalen Hurts, because I've listened to the conversation, I bit my tongue to let y'all go. As far as a quarterback, where is he at in the division? I think he's the third best quarterback in the division, but he's the best at doing what they asked him to do.
He's the best leader.
As far as where we were last year as the Eagles, but where the Eagles were last year, at the beginning of the year, Nick Sirianni had him trying to do a bunch of things that Jalen Hurts ain't. Yeah. But about halfway through the season, he figured out, well, shit, we have a great offensive line. We top 3 in offensive line. We got a bunch of running backs. Let's do this. Let's do our defense is like defensive line is top 3.
Stop trying to worry about lining up the scoreboard.
Let's just shorten the game.
At the end of the
let's
game.
Keep the clock running. Yep. And I think them going into this year knowing that that's the formula is the formula to success. I think we were won 11 games last year or so had they just known what they had at the beginning. It was a feeling out process. They don't have that this year. So I still think we got a top 3 offensive line and a top 3 defensive line in the league. We got solid corners. We finally got our corner situation together. We're okay at safety. But our linebackers are nice. But it all is predicated on the line pressure that we put up front. And with that, I think we'll be able to dominate there. But continue to run the ball, continue to shorten the clock. We got more running backs. I like A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown is a monster. So I think we'll figure out short ways to get him the ball. Just take the play. Yeah, take the playbook from the San Francisco 49ers. Hey, here goes 5 yards. Jalen Hurts can throw the ball 5 yards. I don't need you to throw it 50. Throw this 5-yard hitch, AJ. Go beat people
up. Throw the ball 5 yards.
And which gets back to a couple weeks ago when I told you I could start in Kyle Shanahan's offense. I got 2 throws left in me. If both of them to Debo, I'm straight. So AJ Brown, turn around, catch this 5-yard hitch, and let's go get it. Miles Sanders, come out the backfield. Let me hit you in this flat real quick. Go get it. Like, I think that's the formula of success for the Eagles, which is why I have the Eagles winning 12 games. And being able to like really be solid because again, I think as far as a drop back passer and stuff like that, that's not Jalen Hurts' game. But as long as your coach understands what it is that you do well and only do those things, I think that's the key to, like you mentioned, is he a Super Bowl quarterback? I also don't believe he's a Super Bowl quarterback, but I think he can lead a team to a Super Bowl as long as they just do the things that he does well. Mm-hmm. Now you'll have to be extraordinary at doing those things well.
Right.
So you can't come in like we are, like we are the 10th best rushing offense. No, you got to be the number 1 rushing offense if you're going to do this. And the defense has to be top 5. Like those are the formulas that will get them to a Super Bowl if that was to happen. But as far as being able to win an NFC East, I got him hands down running away with the division. Like, I don't think it's going to be, difficult because I think they're just going to get off to a fast start. They're the healthiest, knock on wood, they're the healthiest team to start off the season too, as well. So I think that
they don't have any glaring, like, obvious holes that
right. As long as the only one we got right now is Kelsey at center, but he's been playing center long enough that he'll just jump back in and be fine. That's the elbow procedure he's had.
Let me just give you a little pushback then on this, because this is my thought on the Eagles. And again, it comes back to the quarterback spot. This is why I said the difference between Dak or like even when he said Carson Wentz for the Commanders. Here's my thought, and this is my concern, both short-term and long-term for the Eagles. At the NFL level, and I felt like we kind of got a glimpse of this even back in Alabama. At the NFL level, I feel like Jalen Hurts, it isn't that he's not as good, like, measurables or like you even talk about intangibles, whatever, no matter how you slice it. I just feel like he is easier to defend than Dak and Wentz because he just doesn't have the same arm as either one of them. And I feel like
he takes zero chances. That's why Saban benched him. It wasn't because of his poor play.
No, I get that.
It was because he takes zero chances.
And what I'm saying is,
the ball down the field.
And I'm saying at the NFL level, even more so than in college, that is so much easier to defend. I can come up with a game plan because here's the point. In college, Jalen Hurts can outrun you. He can't do that in the pros. He's not Lamar. And even Lamar can't do it all the time. Like, he still has to be able, like, even some of the criticisms, and I don't really want to make you mad. We start talking about Bill Polian. But in his defense,
you really gonna bring him up? You really gonna
listen? My point was, inartful as it was, that's what Bill Polian was trying to say about Lamar Jackson at the pro level. Basically, the athletes are all just as fast and strong and whatever. You're not just going to run around on them. My point is, Jalen Hurts, I feel like, has more limitations as a thrower of the ball than Carson Wentz and Dak Prescott. And for that reason, I feel like
that's a fact. You don't have to feel like that.
But my point is all the intangibles don't change the fact that when I put a game plan together, Jalen Hurts is just easier for me to defend. And the book is out on him. Like last year, people were still trying to have to figure out, well, what can he do? What can he do? There's nothing. There's so little to figure out about Jalen Hurts that it's fine to say, yeah, we're just going to run the ball and pound the ball. But I'm looking at the schedule. First of all, by the way, they benefit from a fairly soft schedule in that they play some of the divisions. So I'm not putting double-digit wins outside the realm of possibility.
No, it's just like the last episode when we was talking about the team you got on your shirt.
I'm simply saying,
y'all start off first like 8 to 10 weeks real light.
Yeah, the Bengals have no business not being 7-3 after the first 10 games.
Yeah,
based on the schedule, not even just talking about the players in the roster.
Right.
My only thing is getting back to Jalen Hurts, focusing back on you, Andre, because I want to like the Eagles. I'm right down the street. Like, everything is Eagles. It's between Eagles and really, I would say Commanders, but people are still mad. They a little chafed about the fact that they changed the name. But here it's Ravens, it's Commanders, and it's Eagles.
Yeah, you got and the Eagles are only an hour from you.
Huh?
You got 3 squads within an hour.
Oh yeah. I'm like, I run past probably every week. I drive past the Eagles Stadium. But what I'm saying is, my concern short term is that he's easier to defend. Long term, my concern is if you're right, and I don't have any strong feeling about being right about this division. It could be the Eagles, and they could win 12 games based on what I see on the schedule. All I'm saying is, I think that would be the absolute worst thing that could happen to the Eagles is Jalen Hurts is the starting quarterback and they win 12 games. God forbid they win a playoff game, because then it's going to be the same repeat of Carson Wentz. You're not going to be able to come off of him, even though I don't feel like he's the long-term answer.
How's it the same as Carson Wentz?
Because they gave Carson Wentz that money.
Yeah, but he should have been the long-term answer. He refused to grow. I agree with you to a certain extent about the Jalen Hurts.
He put a statue up of the backup. He had to walk past every day at work. Like it was some emotional scars there.
Yeah, he became emotionally fragile.
Yeah, well, I mean, any man was not really like. Look,
I'm not about to walk.
Basketball players are the worst at this. They're not football players. Always, we are taught. Hey, if you can't be out there, you root your guys on. Basketball players, if they ain't out there, they want their squad to lose.
Yep.
They won't admit it in public, but I know a bunch of them that real live hoopers, good ones that you might have heard of. If they ain't out there, they don't want their team to win.
That's it.
Carson was in a weird space. I'm not disagreeing with anything you just said. I'm just saying that it made him. What I'm saying is it made him emotionally fragile.
He broke under. He
didn't take it as I'm about to show you I can do it. He tried to do it his way and only his way, and coaches started getting fired left and right because he wanted to be stubborn that way. But Jalen Hurts isn't like he's willing to improve. It's not a hard work ethic thing. Like it is literally, does he have the ability? Did God give him that?
I don't think and all I'm saying is I'm betting that he doesn't.
But Jalen Hurts also handled the exact same situation with Tua in a whole different way. One might argue that Carson Wentz, the way he handled the Foles situation, is the reason they drafted Jalen Hurts.
Absolutely. Yes. No, ain't no one to argue. That is the reason why they did it. Had Carson Wentz handled the situation the way that Jalen Hurts did with Tua and just went on about his business and kept his chin up, and been more mature about it, he would still be. Here's the deal: he would still be in Philadelphia, and they would be hands down the best team.
It wouldn't even be. Yeah, it would be
because it's not a matter of the two. And my point is, it feels like a character versus actual talent issue here. Because Jalen Hurts, I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea. I love Jalen Hurts as a human. And I love it. I see the commercials, and like he ain't even out here like with shoes and like Subway. He's out here putting out commercials talking about positive stuff that means. I've seen it on TV. Like
if I had a daughter, I'd want her to marry Jalen Hurts.
Absolutely.
But I don't necessarily know that I want him to start from my team.
There you go.
But my whole thing, and I'm not disagreeing. My whole thing is
back up and lead the meetings in the team.
He's talented. He's definitely talented. Like he deserves to be one of the starting 32 quarterbacks.
I don't know about that. He deserves.
I do know about.
He deserves an opportunity.
He deserves the opportunity. Yeah. But like I said, as long as they cater this thing around him, like they have the receivers. Like the one thing that doesn't get talked about, Devontae Smith came in as a rookie and was snapping pros that have been here for 5 years and Pro Bowlers off. Devontae Smith is almost unguardable. And I truly mean that if you just look at his actual route running.
He weighs 142 pounds.
He do, but my guy is open though. Like he is, and so really what the step is for Jalen Hurts is not the arm strength.
My son can get open at 135 pounds, but
it's not his arm strength that's going to do it. It's his anticipation. Are you going to trust?
Yes.
Coach
and do you believe that the coaches are going to do it?
I think. Well, no, the coaches called the plays
out of him because they couldn't do it.
They called the plays for the people to be open. He didn't trust what he saw enough. Like he had to see people be open to throw it. And the problem with it is his arm ain't strong enough for you to have to wait. Like so, this is the Joe Montana situation.
You know what I was going to say? Joe Burrow found out his arm ain't strong enough at the pro level to have to see them open.
This is that Joe Montana thing where it's like, yo, I'm going to throw it and I'm going to trust that you're going to get there. Peyton Manning did the same thing. I'm going to throw it and wait and see if you get there. Very real. Like you got Josh Allen. Josh Allen don't give a damn. You can be covered. I can wait. I can
just wave you over here, cuz.
Right. Like you late. Okay. The ball showed up on time. You was late.
So he ain't got that. But Favre is another one. Now he threw it to spots, and his thing was, with Favre, people just were waiting. Hey, we learned. Let's just go to the spot. We know he gonna throw it somewhere over here. we'll just wait on it. And now I might not catch it because he's still going to throw it 100 miles an hour, Nolan Ryan style.
Right, he's
going to bounce off my chest. So that's really the step on Jalen Hurts is can he just trust to throw the ball with the anticipation? Just
and that's growth and maturity.
That is growth.
That's the mental part. It's not the physical part, which is
right. So I don't think he ever going to have that cannon. I just think he's just going to have to learn to let it rip and trust that the people going to get there.
And I'll say it like this: a lot of guys, and I'll just kind of button it up here. A lot of guys don't realize this, especially at the pro level. You have very few. Paul and I used to talk about it. You have very few guys that are absolutely just special, like weird, freakishly special arm talent. Most of the guys are just good, like guys. Mm-hmm. Like you get a couple of guys where it's like they can throw it, 80 yards. That are just freaks.
Most of them can throw it about 50 to 60.
Most of them are in that 50 to 60 range. And the point being is that, and the reason why I say this is because I don't think that Jalen Hurts it's not like I'm saying he can't throw. He clearly is good enough. It's whether or not, like you said, that anticipation is going to be there. And what do they put around him, the type of game plans they put together. I just kind of feel like he's limited. So with that, I'm going to give you my prediction. Again, I'm going to say it like this. I think that I think you guys are completely underestimating what the Cowboys are going to show up and do. I think in spite of McCarthy, I think they're going to give Pollard more run. I think the offensive line is probably not quite as bad as everybody's making it. I think they're a year too early on the obituary for the Cowboys offensive line. And I think the Cowboys will win the division. I think it's going to be close with the Eagles, but I think that the Eagles going to find out they got some growing pains. And they'll probably be in that same space with the Commanders. I do think that the schedule is soft, and that's what's going to skew everything because I think there's actually going to be more wins coming out of the NFC East than there is by anybody that's going to come out of the NFC North, for example, just because of the way the schedule kind of lines up. And I think, honestly, the Cowboys are going to surprise some people. So that's my pick.
No,
we already know where Andre. We can skip that. So,
well, no NFC team has won back-to-back titles, so that automatically excludes the Cowboys.
Yeah, the NFC East. We haven't done that in 17 years.
Yeah, and so Cowboys are dead.
Right. You say Giants, you up?
Yeah, they did. So
let's do this quickly so we can go ahead and close this out on the NFC. Who you got? Who you got your division winners? Who do you have making the playoffs, and who do you have representing the Super Bowl?
All right, I'll go first. Out of the West, so we'll do it the way we did it. Out of the North, I got Green Bay. Out of the West, I got San Fran. Out of the South, I got New Orleans. Out of the East, I got the Commanders winning it. My 3 wild cards are the Rams, the Bucks, and the Eagles.
Okay, I'll go next. In the North, I like the Vikings, and I like them a lot, actually. And I hate to say that because I don't really care for them. But I like the Vikings. In the West, I'm going to go with the Rams. In the South, I like the Saints big. And in the East, I like the Cowboys kind of not particularly strong. And then for wild cards, I've got the 49ers. I think they're going to be the top wild card. I think the Packers I hate to do this against. I can't put the Packers in. I hate to do that to Aaron Rodgers, but I just think that I think the whole thing is going to fall out on them. So I've got the first wild card being the 49ers. I got the second wild card being the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I'm going to do a toss-up here between the Eagles, Commanders, and the Panthers for the third wild card. I don't know. I really don't think it's going to matter because I think they're going to end up getting demolished by whoever they play. But one of those teams are going to get the seventh wild card spot.
All right. So for the West, I got the Rams. For the North, I got Minnesota. For the South, I got Tampa Bay. And for the East, I got the Eagles. My 3 wild cards are San Fran, Carolina, and the Commanders.
Okay.
Who you got in the Super Bowl?
Wow. Niners.
Andre?
Right. You asking?
I mean, you can ask, but that's fine. I'll have my 2 quarterbacks in there. So it'll be an all-bird Super Bowl. I'm going with the Eagles.
And I'm right there with Paul Wilson. It's going to be the Bengals versus the 49ers. The Bengals finally get to
don't do that.
Their loss all those years from back in the 80s, Joe Montana, Taylor.
God.
Jerry Rice going for 10,000 yards.
I don't need to live through this the third time, bro.
Bengals do it. They finally pull it off. That's the Super Bowl. That's my champion. Coming out of the NFC, San Francisco is going to get all the way to the promised land to lose to the Bengals. And that's it for this episode of The Gray Matters, where we break down the NFC. You heard it here first. Who that?
I'm right, Billy's wrong.
Bengals, 49ers, we get the job done.
Ravens winning the Super Bowl over the Eagles.
We say thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in.
Chiefs over the Niners in a rematch.
Be blessed.
Fly, Eagles, fly.